How you doing, Jeno? This is a reply to my video, and you raised some interesting points, and I just want to address a few of them. Right, you mentioned you hint at notions of gender and how these notions of gender interact in society. I mean, I think you're kind of aiming at the values of why patriarchal societies exist, and you hint at this dissatisfaction of women, and that is what feminism is for you. This dissatisfaction of for women of what society has offered them. So, I agree. I agree to a certain extent with that. I mean, certainly notions of masculinity traditionally have been. I mean, the Clint Eastwood man with no name ideal. I mean, the perfect masculine man who does not reveal feelings, who is always one step ahead, has these intricate plans to do well. Who's, if any emotion is shown, it's seen as a sign of weakness. And then against this, you have traditional notions of femininity, such as the archetypes of the mother, the whore, the virgin, and so on. So I think all these certainly do exist in the kind of public consciousness. I don't think anybody, if you really question them, would be like, what's an ideal man? They would, I don't know if they would necessarily say Clint Eastwood. What's an ideal woman? Well, someone who combines the notions of mother, a mother whore, and virgin in one coherent whole. I don't know if they necessarily say that, but it's certainly something at the back of everyone's mind. Now, you raise questions about male feminists, which are entirely justified, I think. I mean, certainly I know myself, up to even a year or two ago, I also, and I did this as well, you'd be in a group of, guys, all very well educated, all, if questioned, would possibly call themselves male feminists, and you might fall into a kind of pattern of discussion about women, and it would be presumption that women wouldn't be able to understand it, or maybe not so much understand it, but wouldn't think about it in the way that we demanded them to think about it for them to have a valuable contribution. So let's say a lot of the guys I would have had conversations with like this would all have been academics who put rationality to a very, very high extent, and there's this innate, nearly presumption, not innate, but there's a presumption within a lot of guys, and I was also guilty of this in the past, that women couldn't be rational, or if they could be rational, it was a rarity. It was against their character. Now, this is obviously a dreadful way to think, and it's. I mean, I think a lot of why men think this is kind of confirmation bias. So they'll see a situation, they already have this preconceived notion of how women and men should react to something. When they see women react the way they should, they go, "Oh, that's women being women," the way they think they should. I mean, that's women being women. When women show the certain values that men think should, think are male values, for example. And I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for saying male and female values. I'm not saying that these values are innate to men and women. I'm saying that these are the values that patriarchy puts forward as male and female values. But anyways, there is this confirmation bias that women are the irrational ones. They let their emotions take over them, whereas men can see the whole problem and argue. This is bullshit. I do not see in life this actually being the case. I see men who think they're rational being incredibly irrational, and I see women who, because of also the conditioning that allows them to believe their own archetypes of feminism, or of feminists, or not feminist, but femininity, that women will feel that they are in these categories of whore, mother, virgin, and also apply them to other women. This is all this is the problem with patriarchy. This is why patriarchy is an issue. Right. So just to address that, men it is right to men still, even supposedly advanced thinkers about gender equality, can still fall into the same biases, can still presume that women are X and men are Y, and that that's the way it is. And I think that's part of the problem. When you even have the people who are on your side falling into those traps, it is very, very hard to make any progress. So I would acknowledge that as an issue. Then the other part, just in terms of women and the idea that women traditionally have been shown they need a man, a relationship will save them. And then we're in a period of history where women have, that's a lot of women have the economic means to be on their own, to not be, not be treated as property, to have their own property, and so on, and to be a self-sustaining individual. And then there's this huge disappointment because they have X, Y, and Z. They have all these material possessions. They have these societal freedoms, and then they're still not happy because they still are trying to bring that together with a notion of this perfect relationship with a man who will fulfill all their desires, right? And this is Hollywood. Hollywood has a lot to answer for that. Obviously, not solely Hollywood, and Hollywood is just reflecting back other parts of society. But I mean, take something like Sex and the City. I could only watch 2 or 3 episodes of it because I thought it was incredibly badly written. But that's an aesthetic issue with it. But in terms of the political and the political theory inside Sex and the City, so you have these supposedly strong women, and a lot of women I've known have loved Sex and the City, and I would say things like, do you not see that it reinforces a lot of the problems with men, like male notions and societal notions of what women are? Because I mean, you have the whore, you have the virgin. I think the whore was Samantha. I can't remember the name of the virgin. You have the mother-ish character with the red head. It's kind of like giving advice and so on. So like, and then you have the seer, which is just a general kind of societal view for the main one. The girl who's in LA Story. I can't remember her name. Sarah Jessica Parker. So you have these characters, and instead of seeing strength coming out of these women who are in this position of societal power, they have powerful jobs, they are financially free, still they're always after a man, so they always need that hole to be filled. I mean, I would have really liked the idea that maybe this happened. I didn't watch all the series or anything like that, but maybe one of them did decide, I don't need a man and I can live on my own. I think this and then on the reverse, I think there is a lot of unhappiness in men because this notion that men can just be an island and be on their own doesn't work either. Men do need, like, the relation, like, okay, not need. A lot of men have an emotional kind of hole in their lives that needs to be filled somehow, and a strong relationship, a loving relationship with another man or woman would fulfill that, I think, for a lot of men. But there are barriers to men getting that. And in the same way, a lot of women do not need to be fulfilled in this way, do not have to have male or female intimate company to make them a whole person. And I think, if nothing else, that archetype of women needing a man and man needing no one has to be brought down, because it's making everybody so unhappy. So that's about it. Cheers, Jenna. Interesting video. Enjoyed it a lot. Thanks.